Hi, this is Karen. It's lesson 7 in our series on how to play by ear. I'm sorry we're running a little late because of the holidays. As you can see, we're kind of decorated. But I want to make sure we finish the last 2 before the end of the year. So lesson 7 now is going to take in just how do you put harmony notes under a melody note. So I learned this from an ear player a long time ago. I've picked a lot of ear players' brains over the years. Most of them couldn't tell me what they were doing, but I just kept at them until they actually could put their thought process into words. So today we're going to talk about adding harmony notes under a melody note. It'll also help you figure out maybe what chord is playing, and I have a little cheaty way to show you how to do that too. Okay, today we're going to talk about only the right hand. A lot of you have emailed me and asked me, well, what do I do when I want to play more than one note? So I'm going to show you what I learned from an ear player who didn't really even know the chords, but he kind of knew what sounded good. So in this lesson, I'm going to show you what to do with the right hand. And then in the next lesson, I'm going to show you how to figure out what chord it is that you're playing. And then you can apply that to your left hand so you get a big full sound when you're playing, not just going and sounding like a beginner. So, remember, I told you you were going to sound really good by the time we were done in 8 weeks. Alright, so here's a rule. At the beginning of our sessions, we talked about intervals. Okay, so a third above C is an E. 1 note up, 2 notes down is a third. A third under G, you skip a note and play the next one. 1 note up, 2 notes down. Alright? 2 notes up, 2 notes down is a fourth. 3 notes up and 2 notes down is a fifth. So when you're playing harmony, you're either going to have an interval of a sixth, 4 notes up, 2 notes down, or a third. Alright, that's what you're allowed. So with just your right hand, if I'm playing a melody note C, and I want to play harmony, right now, just for beginner purposes, you're allowed one of 2 intervals. This one. Now listen to how pretty it sounds. If I just lock my hand and just play. So if Silent Night goes like this, if I play a third below and lock my hand, okay, see how good that sounds? But when I get to here, it doesn't sound so good anymore. So what we're going to do, when you get to a set of notes that just doesn't sound right, you're just going to make it an interval of a sixth. Now, you could also just do this. You can also just drop that note down 1 and make it a fourth if you want to just do it quickly. So if you're going, see, that sounds really good, but a sixth sounds even better. So just remember, a peace sign is a third, and love is, in Hawaii, this is peace and love. Peace and love. So third and sixth. When I was doing it, I used to teach it, I'm a little teapot. So put this thumb under your nose and sing that I'm a little teapot song, and you'll get that interval. But if your hand is locked, the melody note will be there, skip 4, and the harmony note will be there. So just lock your hand, and whereth the top note goeth, so goeth the bottom note. Alright, so if I'm going to play Silent Night, I'm just going to lock my hand in thirds. Now I knew that one didn't sound good, so I'm going to make it a sixth. Now I'm going to get more creative with my fingering. Now, here's that same interval. It isn't going to sound good. See? So I'm going to make it a sixth. So that's how you can play really pretty. It would be like a soprano and an alto if they're singing. So the soprano would sing the top note, the alto would sing the bottom note. All right, so that's called two-note harmony. Now, if you want to play in three-note harmony, there's another little sneaky thing that I learned from a really good ear player. If I was learning the music reading way, I would have to know the notes in the chord, and you build the notes under the melody note that are in the chord, so you have to know all of this. You'd have to know how to spell the chords, and if it's a C note and a C chord, you'd have to put the G and the C underneath it. There's a really fast, cheaty way to do this. It's called three positions, okay? The first one, let's say C is the melody note, and I want to play a three-note harmony. All right, all I have to do is skip one, skip one. That is the first position. So the melody note is there, skip one, skip one. If that doesn't sound good, I take the bottom note and move it down. Now look what I've done. I've got that sixth, remember that we just did? And that note stayed the same. Here's the first one, here's the second position. Okay? If that still doesn't sound good, just take the middle note and move it down. All right. So watch what we're doing now. In lesson 8, I'm going to tell you how to recognize that as a chord. But now, if you just want to play, all right, so if I'm playing thirds, and I want to add that other harmony note, I'm going to add this one right here. Okay, and I can just stay there. And you're never going to go out of a fifth position or a sixth position. You're never going to go lower, and you're never going to go higher. So 5 and 6 are going to be the bass. That's the basis for your right hand chord. Don't even try this though until you really get good with the two notes. So let's say I'm playing Jingle Bells. Okay, I've practiced, I've got my melody. Now I want to add something. So let's try thirds first. That one doesn't sound so great. So I could just either take this bottom note and move it there, and it'll sound fine, but this will sound much better. See? The sixth always sounds better than a fourth. All right. If you're playing sixth, and it doesn't sound good when you get to a certain place, just take the sixth and move it to a fifth. All right? If you want to cheat and do it fast. But it's better if you turn it into a third. So remember, thirds and sixth. Peace and love. All right. Almost any song, if you're playing Away in a Manger, okay, now I played it all in thirds, and I think you noticed there was a couple places that didn't sound as good. So let's go. Now let's change it to sixth. See? So after you've practiced a little while and you get your ear tuned in, some places you're going to want to switch from third to sixth and third to sixth and back. All right? So that's your lesson this week. I want you to just sit and play Christmas songs. And remember, take your Christmas book, look at the table of contents, and just practice picking out melodies. Now remember, you got to start on the right note. So go back to lesson 1 where you always play the C chord first. And let's find the first note of Jingle Bells. It's E. And by now you should probably have a list of the first notes of those songs. Or you can use your big note easy playbook and just read the notes, and because the harmony notes are not written there, you can just practice adding that harmony note under the melody. Okay? So that's today's lesson. All I want you to do is for this next week, just practice playing your right hand. And if you've already got some of your left hand songs done, so if you've learned Jingle Bells already, see? So you could just go ahead and play your chords, but now it's much more interesting to listen to. Have a great week, and we'll see you next session. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and it really is kind of easy. It just takes some guts. And I had a shirt once made that said, "Got guts," because ear players just didn't have a chance to have a teacher. So most people who learned to play by ear just sat at the piano and hunted and pecked and listened until something came out that sounded good. So some people play on all black notes, but I had to use logic, and hopefully the logic that we've given you in these past few weeks has helped you. But it just kind of takes you having the ability to take the music off the music rack and just sit there and play. Even if you just play some chord progressions and see what happens. So I hope today's lesson inspired you to just sit down at the piano and see what comes out. And if you have my Playing Music with No Music book, I think you'll find that we're almost at the end of it now. And the hints in there are really pretty helpful. So at lesson 8, we'll finish up with the book. Today we didn't use the book because it's really hard to write down what I'm teaching you today in the book. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at the next lesson.